Okay, well, on that Pesachim that Yudam base, we are in the middle of talking about different sfekas, different scenarios that arouse when you have a suffix. We have a house that was checked, and then a suffix arises if the house is checked or not again. For example, we're starting the Yudam base. You put chametz in the right corner of the house, and you leave the room. And you come back a few minutes later, and you find the chametz on. You find the bundle of chametz you put before. You find the other corner of the house. So what do? Do we say that this is the same bundle that was in the right corner or not, or do we say that the bundle that was in the corner someone took away, and the bundle that's in the right corner now that you could see is a new bundle, and that would make you check the house. That would make you be chayiv to check the house for chametz again. So what's the din? So the Gemara says, "Plukter the Rashbag b'Rabbanan." This is machlekes between Shimon Gamliel and Rabban. What is machlekes? Machlekes like this: the Tanya of learning a brayso, kardom sha'avad dabais. If you have a axe, or if you have a hammer that was lost inside the house, and it was lost inside the house, habai is tummy. The house now becomes tummy. What does that mean? Shani Omer, because I say, Adam tummy nichnas l'shamanate. A person came inside the house and took the axe, and the house, which had the status of tummy of a tardik house, now has the status of a tumdik house. Because the person who stole your axe is a tumdik person. That's a Rishon Gamliel shita. So in our case, the house. In our case, the house would not need to be checked again because the cheshish that someone came and took the house would have to be checked again because the cheshish someone took the chametz and away from the house, and the chametz now is a new pile of chametz. That's Rishon Gamliel shita. That's Tanakama shita. Sorry, Rishon Gamliel says Abai is the house is fire. Why? That I say that. The reason why the axe is in the house isn't because someone took it, it's because you lent it to someone yesterday and you forgot about it. And therefore, if you lent it to someone yesterday and you forgot about it, we're not cheshish that a new person came to the house. And since we're not cheshish a new person came to the house is toy. So in our case, the chametz, Rabbi Shimon would hold that since the chametz, even though the chametz was in one corner and now it's another corner, the house would be toy because the house would not need to be checked again because you probably forgot which corner you put it in. Says Rabbi Shimon further. The shachach and you forgot. If you took the axe from one corner, if you put it in one corner and you found it in another corner and you forgot which corner you put in the so the house is toy because you partially forgot. Says the Gemara, who's zavis man chashmei? Why is in the Brisa mentioning the Brisa first starts off telling us that if someone has an axe and he lost the axe, he had the axe in his table and then he woke up in the morning and he saw the axe was missing. So that's machlekes Rabbi Gamliel and Chacham. Then suddenly, Rabbi Gamliel mentions a new case. If you put the axe in one corner and you found the axe in another corner, what's it in? So why is Rabbi Gamliel mentioning a case of putting an axe in one corner and finding another corner? Who's speaking about axes of it? Who's speaking about corners of it? So the Brisa says, the Gemara says, the Brisa is missing words. This is how you're supposed to read the Brisa. It's supposed to read the Brisa like this. Okay, we're going to get a bit carried away with the Brisa, but we're just bringing a proof from the Brisa to case of chametz. The Brisa is supposed to read the Brisa like this: Kaidon shav b'bayis. If you've lost the axe inside the house, Tanakama says Abai is tummy. The house is tummy. Why? Because I say Adam tummy nichas l'shamanati. A tummy person came inside the house and took the axe, and therefore the house is not tummy because a tummy person came inside the house. Nichnas l'sham v'not mizavizu. Sorry, Adam tummy nichnas l'sham. Sorry, hiniach bezavizu oish hiniach anukes. Hiniach bezavizu. The Brisa says hiniach bezavizu mat bezavizu chares. If you put the axe in one corner and you find another corner, as opposed to the case before where you don't find the axe, now in a new case you put the axe in one corner, you find the axe in another corner. So what's the din? Tanakama says Abai is tummy. The Brisa says tummy. Why? Because I say Adam tummy nichnas l'sham v'neitim bezavizu v'neitim bezavizu chares. The time the person came inside the house and took it from one corner to another. That's what Tanakama shita. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says that no. That Shimon Gamliel and Rabbi is part of that story. Why? Because I say he lent the axe to someone, and he already forgot. That's in the case that you don't find the axe. Or in the next case that you find it in a different corner that you put in, or you took the axe from one corner to another corner, you forgot about it. So the general idea is, okay, we've got a big carried over the Brisa, but the general idea is that machlekes tanoim, if you find a item in the situation that you didn't put it in, the Tanna Kama would say that someone took the item from one place and put it in the other. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says that when not chesed, someone came inside the house, you forgot where you put the item, and therefore, in the case of tum, the house will be tired. And so in the case of chametz, you put chametz in one corner, and you walk up the next one, you find it in another corner. There's two options. Either I could say someone else came into the house and took the bundle, and therefore the bundle you find in the other corner now in the morning would mean that it's a new bundle, and therefore your house wasn't guarded the whole time and has to be checked again. Or I could say that you Pasha forgot what you think yesterday, you put it in this corner, either you moved it by yourself and you forgot about it, or that you forgot which corner you put in the Chatchila. And therefore, according to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, you would not have to check this house for chametz again, because we're not chesed someone came inside the house. Okay, so now we're done with the case of finding chametz in a different location. New case. Amar Rava says, if you have a rat goes inside the house, and inside the house there's inside the rat's mouth there's a piece of bread. So now you know for sure the chametz came inside your house. Okay, so you went chasing after the rat. You ran after the rat. And you found crumbs on the floor. Even though you found crumbs on the floor, we're not cheshesh that the rat ate the chametz already, and these are the only crumbs that are left. We're cheshesh that the rat ran around the house and took the chametz somewhere else. And so therefore you have to check your house. Why? Says Rabbi, when rats eat, they don't leave crumbs. Meaning, if the rat would have eaten, I don't know if it's rats or different rodents, if the rat would have eaten the chametz, he wouldn't have left any crumbs. From the fact you find crumbs over here, it means that some crumbs dripped from the chametz, or it's new crumbs, and the rat took the chametz somewhere else, and therefore you're gonna have to go check your house to find the chametz the rat took away. What if if you have a small kid, you checked your house, and then you saw a small child walk inside the house with a arugula inside his hand, and you ran after the child, and you found crumbs on the floor. So then, you don't have to check the house again. We assume that the kid ate the piece already, and these crumbs are from the leftovers that the kid ate, and therefore you don't have to check your house again, because this is the only chametz in your house. Why? When a kid eats, he leaves a little crumbs, and he crumbles. He doesn't know how to eat properly, so when he leaves crumbs all over the place, and we assume that the kid ate the chametz, and these crumbs are the only crumbs that are left. When a rat eats, a rat doesn't leave any crumbs. So since a rat doesn't leave any crumbs, the crumbs that are here are not from the rat. It's a different. You can't say the rat ate the crumbs already, and therefore you have to get rid of the crumbs, and you have to check the house again for crumbs to find the piece of the rat. Okay. New case. We're going to ask a bunch of cases now, and the Gemara doesn't come to Maskan. The Gemara says Teiko. The Gemara just asks different scenarios. What's the din? All these cases we're going to say in a second that we have to check the house again. Rabbi asked the question like this: if you find a rat that goes inside the house, inside the rat's mouth is a piece of chametz. So now I know for sure that the chametz came inside the house. Okay, I'm observing the situation. I see that the rat goes inside with chametz inside the mouth, in the mouth. A second later, I see a rat. I don't know if it's the same rat, but I see a rat come out the house with a piece of chametz inside his mouth. What's this din? Mao, what's the din? Mi aminon hayno hay, the hayno hay the navi. Do we say the same rat that went inside the house with a piece of chametz, he is the same rat that came out with a piece of chametz, which would mean that right now there's no chametz inside the house? Or maybe I could say that the rat that went inside the house with chametz, that's rat number one. The rat that came out with a piece is rat number two. And my rat number one is still inside the house, and therefore I have chametz inside my house. I have to check the house again. That's one suffix. Do we say it's the same rat or not? And even if you're going to tell me that the rat that came in is the same rat that came out, and therefore I'm parted from checking the house again. So if you tell me that's the din, I'll give you a new case. If you have a white mouse goes inside, or a white rodent goes inside the house, and he has a piece of chametz inside his mouth, but the rat that came outside the house was back. So now you can't say that it's the same rat because of different colors. So Mao, what's it then? Hi, do I say that since I know for sure it's a different rat, so therefore I for sure have to check my house again. Or do we say that maybe the rat, number one, which is white, went inside the chametz with a piece of went inside the house with a piece of chametz. He dropped the chametz. He called over his friend, which is the black rat, and the black rat took the chametz and went outside with the chametz, and therefore I still do not have to check the house, even though I know for sure it's a different color rat. But maybe it's the same piece of chametz, because maybe the rat shared the piece of chametz with his friend, and the rat coming outside now is coming, the black rat is coming with the same piece of chametz. So that's another suffix. Suffix number 3. Even if you're going to tell me that rats do, that rats don't share, and therefore since rats don't share, I for sure have to check my house again, because the piece of chametz, the white rat that went inside, is for sure the chametz is still there because he doesn't share with the black rat. I'll give you a nukis. If you have a rodent that goes inside the house, you kick your befiv, and he has a kikar, he has a piece of bread inside his mouth. The cholda says the kikar befir, and a weasel, a different type of a much bigger rodent, when inside it comes out of the house with a piece of chametz, with a piece of bread inside his mouth. Mao, what's the din? Cholda vadai ma'ach, since a weasel is a much bigger rodent, so maybe he for sure stole the piece of chametz from the mouse. Or maybe he didn't steal the piece of chametz that the weasel has in his mouth isn't from the mouse, because the misa the me'ach b'shakle ach b'fil mishtakle. If you're going to tell me that he stole the piece of chametz from the mouse's mouth, then he would have also eaten the mouse up, and the mouse would have been inside his mouth, because the weasel doesn't only eat chametz. The weasels also chase down smaller rodents, and therefore he wouldn't have only stolen the piece of chametz from the mouse, he would have also stolen the mouse. And therefore, from the fact that the weasel doesn't have a mouse inside his mouth, he only has a piece of bread, we assume that there was a weasel inside the house anyway, and he found a different piece of bread, and therefore your house is now going to have to be checked for chametz. And one more question. Even if you're going to tell me, the achbarim, the im isel me achbar shakle, achbar befia have mishak. Even if you're going to tell me that the weasel took the only the chametz from the mouth, only the chametz from the rat's the mouse's mouth. Achbar befia have mishtakach. Even if you're going to tell me that if you're going to do the reason, if the weasel would have actually taken the chametz from the mouth, from the mouse's mouth, he would have also had the mouse inside his mouth. So I'll give you a nukis, meaning that now you have to check your house for chametz again. One more case. What if you find a mouse coming inside the house? The kikar b'feiv, and he has a piece of bread inside his mouth. The cholda yitzis, and then you see a second later a weasel come out the house. The kikar v'achbar b'feiv tolda, and he has a kikar, he has a piece of bread, v'achbar, and he has a mouse b'feiv tolda inside his mouth. He's holding side piece of bread inside a weasel. Now, what's the din? Do we say hachal vada iuhu? Do we say for sure that now for sure this piece of bread is the same piece of bread that was brought inside the house, because now that the weasel has the mouse inside his mouth and the piece of bread, we assume that the piece of bread was in the mouse's mouth and the weasel just pounced on the mouse, and therefore it's the same piece of bread? Or do we say Dilma the misa ionino? If you're going to tell me this is the same mouse that came inside the house, why is the piece of bread inside the weasel's mouth? The piece of bread should have been inside the mouse's mouth, because if the weasel pounced on the mouse and the mouse had a piece of bread inside his mouth, so when the weasel's holding onto the mouse, the mouse should have a piece of bread inside his mouth, not the weasel. Or do we say, no, I could say a different svara. Maybe because the mouse got scared, he saw a weasel pouncing on him, the mouse dropped the piece of bread. So the weasel pounced on the mouse, took the mouse inside his mouth, and also pounced on the piece of bread. And that's why the piece of bread isn't inside the mouse's mouth, because the mouse dropped it because he was scared of the weasel. And therefore, even though the piece of bread is not inside the mouse's mouth, but it could be that this piece of bread used to be in the mouse's mouth. And therefore, I assume that this is the same piece of bread that came inside the house, and I would not have to check the house. So all these fakers are obviously, I don't know how practical they are, but they're for sure ideologically fakers. We're bringing, the Gemara is bringing examples of how far you have to use your imagination and go into every single case. What's the answer to all these cases? Teiku. The Gemara doesn't have an answer for them. Teiko stands for Tishbi Ataris Kushas Rabbis, means that Mashiach comes, he's going to answer the questions. Tishbi goes on the Navi. But the Torah passes in Shulchan Aruch, in all these cases, you have to check the house. With that suffix, you have to check the house again. So if it ever happens to someone, he sees a mouse go inside his house and then he sees weasels crawling out. So obviously you have to ask it off, but the Rav is going to tell you to check your house again. Boy, Rav asked a question like this. Now we're moving on from the case of the mice. We're moving on to a case a bit more practical. Rav says like this. If you have a piece of chametz which is stuck onto your ceiling, you could see the chametz, it's stuck onto your ceiling. Do we need, do Rabbanan say that you have to take a ladder, hire a ladder? You have to get a ladder from your house and climb all the way onto the ceiling and take the chametz down. Or you don't have to. What's the sides of the suffix? Do we say the Rabbanan didn't bother you so much to go and climb on your ceiling to take chametz down? Why not? Because since no one, since the piece of chametz is on the ceiling, no one's going to come to eat. No one's going to take a ladder and climb onto the ceiling and take chametz and eat chametz from there. So therefore, no one's going to eat. No one's going to eat chametz on Pesach. So you can just leave it there and be mavata. Do we say it could be that on Pesach something's going to happen to the ceiling and the chametz is going to fall down. Once it falls down, now the chametz is accessible. Once it's accessible, it's a problem of eating chametz being accessible and being a hazard for you maybe to eat it on Pesach. So that's the question. The question goes further. This all in the case of a ceiling that maybe the chametz could fall down and it's going to be accessible. I'll give you a different case. What if you have a piece of bread inside a pit or inside a ditch? So now the chametz for sure can't fall down from anywhere. The chametz doesn't rise, so it's for sure not going to be accessible on Pesach. So do we need a ladder? Do Rabbanan say that you need a ladder to strap a ladder and climb down the pit and take the chametz out? Or don't you need? What's the svaris of the suffix? Because for sure, chametz over here, the chametz is never going to be accessible on Pesach because it can never rise by itself. Or do we say no? Maybe for whatever reason on Pesach you're going to have to go down into the pit for whatever reason. Maybe you store stuff there, and you're going to have to go down anyway. Once you're going to go down there, the chametz are going to be accessible on Pesach. And in third question, even if you're going to tell me that even in the case of the pit, you're going to have to check chametz because it could be that it could be accessible if you go down intentionally to find something there. So therefore, you're going to have to check. What about a case? If you have a piece of bread in the mouth of a snake, do you have to call the pest control to come with their tools and pay money to chase away the snake, meaning to get the chametz away? Or do we say that no, since the chametz is inside the snake's mouth, you don't have to chase it away, and you can just remove it. What's the two sides? By the cases of this case of the snake is different than the case of the ladder in the pit and the ceiling. But by the case of the ladder in the ceiling, you're not spending any extra money. So maybe we could say that since Rabbanan, what's the problem? The problem is it's a big tircha, it's a big bother. So maybe when it comes to your own personal tirchas, it comes to your own personal bothers. So Rabbanan said that you still have to do your best to get rid of the chametz. Or maybe on the other hand, I could say, but when it comes to the case of the snake, I'm going to have to hire pest control. Pest control costs money. Maybe when it comes to money, Rabbanan will mechayiv you to spend extra money on such a far-fetched case to get rid of the chametz. Maybe do we say Rabbanan we're mechalik between money and physical bother? And just like by physical bother, I could say that you're chayiv to get rid of the chametz. So to buy money, to spend extra money, and on pest control, you also have to get rid of. You have to spend extra money. So what's the din? Teiku. The din is teiku. We don't answer the answer, but even in these dinim, the Torah paskins that if you're about the chametz and Pesach for whatever reason, you are now going to have to go inside your house and get rid of all these, call the pest control and get rid of the chametz from your ceiling and so forth. So now we're going into a whole new subject. We're speaking about when you check chametz. We finished off how you check chametz. Now we're talking about when you check chametz, the time of checking chametz. Says the Mishnah. Yeah, again, the Mishnah is on Daf Yud Amud Beis. It is in the middle, towards the end, 2/3 of the bottom of the Amud. Says the Mishnah. Yehuda says, "Beitkin Eila Ba'asa." When do we check chametz? So Yehuda says there's 3 times we check chametz. Number 1, Eila Ba'asa, meaning Erev Pesach by night. Number 2, Uvay Ba'asa Shachris, you also have to check chametz Erev Pesach in the morning. And the third time you have to check chametz over Shas Abir, you also have to check chametz when you burn the chametz. So, which is the 6th hour on Yudal Nisan. So, the Pashto Pshat of the Mishnah is, we're going to see if the Gemara is going to change the Pashto Pshat, but the Pashto Pshat of the Mishnah is that it says you have to go check for chametz 3 times. Even though you checked before, you have to check again. Chacham say, if you didn't check on Erev Pesach by night, so then you have a second opportunity, Yivdek by Ba'asa, to check. You have a second opportunity to check on Erev Pesach by day. You never checked for that reason on Erev Pesach by day. Yivdek b'Sech HaMeid, you should check inside, you should check even on Pesach. If for whatever reason you didn't check your house for the whole Pesach, Yivdek l'achar HaMeid, you should check even your house for after Pesach, even after Pesach. I'm going to explain why you have to, not after Pesach, you have to check your house. Okay, sorry, I can see now Rashi says a different place. Sorry, we're going to start again. Chacham said like this: you didn't check it on the 14th. Yivdek b'Sech HaMeid, you should check. B'Sech HaMeid means the time when you're burning chametz. You never check the time when you're burning chametz. Yivdek l'achar HaMeid, you should check after the time to burn chametz, which is from when you burn chametz all the way until Pesach by night. So, says the Mishnah further, Umash Shir, whatever you leave after you check, meaning after Erev Pesach, on Erev Pesach by night, when we do B'dikas chametz, we still want to eat breakfast in the morning. So we take the chametz we want to eat in the morning, we have to put it in a hiding spot. So people that we already learned about this, so the mice shouldn't come and take it. We have to hide it, so you shouldn't have to come and check your house again. So the Pashut Pshat in the Mishnah is that Rabbi Yehuda says there's 3 times you have to check your house 3 times for chametz. Chametz say no, you have to check it either Erev Pesach by night. If you didn't do that, you have Erev Pesach in the morning. If you didn't do that, you have until Pesach by night. Says in my time, Rabbi Yehuda, what's the reason of Yehuda? Why in the world would Rabbi Yehuda tell you to check chametz 3 times? Chista and Rabbi both gave a reason for this. They said, "Keneged shalish hashbases." It says in the Torah 3 times tashbiso. It says in the Torah 3 times. It says 3 times in the Torah to get rid of your chametz. Number one, one pasuk says that you shouldn't see any chametz and you shouldn't see any neither. Second pasuk says you shouldn't find any chametz inside your house. Third pasuk says the first day of Pesach, the first day of Pesach, which we already explained, that means Erev Pesach, you should get rid of all the chametz inside your house. So it says 3 times in Torah to get rid of your chametz. So Rabbi Bar Rav Huna said that this is why Rabbi Yehuda says you have to get rid of your chametz. You on your part, you have to double check 3 times, triple check your house 3 times to get rid of the chametz. That's all one way of learning the Mishnah. Masechta Rav Yosef asked, according to this, you have to check your house 3 times. How do we teach? The rest of how do we teach? We have a brisa that says the opposite. What does it say in the brisa? The brisa says like this. Yehuda says, anyone who didn't check for these 3 times, he doesn't check anymore. From here we see, from the fact that Yehuda said that anyone who didn't check these 3 times doesn't check any further. From here we see that Yehuda doesn't mean you have to check 3 times. All Yehuda is saying that you have 3 times, 3 opportunities to check for your chametz. If you didn't do any of those 3 opportunities, then that's it. It's too late. Mashenka and Abanon, who argue to go that saying that even if you didn't check these 3 times, you still have until Pesach by night to check your chametz. So from Lashon advice is mashma that Yehuda is not coming to say you have to check chametz 3 times. Yehuda is just saying that you have 3 opportunities to check. If you didn't check for these 3 opportunities, too late. Mazutra also found a brisa like this, that it says, Masechta Rav Yosef asked from this brisa, Yehuda says, anyone who didn't check from one of these 3 times, so here we see you only have to check once. Doesn't have to check anymore. All Yehuda is coming along to say is that you have 3 opportunities to check for your chametz. If you miss those opportunities, you can't check anymore. Mashenka and Abanon say you can check until night, but from the Lashon the brisa uses anyone who didn't check one of these 3 times. From here we see clearly that Yehuda does not need you to check your house for chametz 3 times. So what's pshat in Yehuda? So from here we see Rabbi Yosef says the Mishnah means different. Yehuda means you don't have to check for the chametz 3 times. Behold, the Behold is coming along is Mesef that he's saying that if you didn't check, if you didn't check 3 times, this is what the argument is. Ma'asav, the Behold holds Mikamei Yisura in. You can only start checking for your chametz before the Issa starts, meaning before Chatzais. But after Chatzais starts, you can't check for your chametz anymore. Why? Because after the Issa starts, then if you're going to check chametz and you're going to find chametz, after the Issa of chametz starts after Chatzais, if Rabbanim are still going to be mechayiv, you're checking for your chametz, and you're going to find chametz, maybe you're going to eat it. So therefore, the Buddha says there's no such thing as checking Yas for chametz after the Issa starts. After the Issa starts by Chatzais or Pesach, you can't check Yas anymore. The Buddha holds that we're not geyser, meaning we're not geyser. Someone's going to want to eat the chametz on Pesach, when after the Issa starts, and therefore even after chametz, even after the Issa of chametz started after Chatzais, you still have to check your chametz, check your house for chametz. So that's a argument that they have. A brother says that after the Issa starts, after Chatzais, we're scheduling to eat the chametz, and therefore you can't check anymore. It's too late. You have to rely on bitzel. And if Yehuda said, the Chachamim say that no, we're not going to eat the chametz after the Issa, and therefore you still have to check the house again. It's time to make clear that which Rabbanan say over here, that after the Issa we're not geyser, we're not scared that you're going to eat the chametz, is only until Pesach by night. Meaning Rabbanan only said that we're not scared you're going to eat the chametz from Chatzais until Pesach by night. After Pesach comes in already, obviously you can't check your house for chametz, because the whole gzeira for checking your house for chametz was in case you're going to find chametz on Pesach and might want to eat it. So we see clearly Rabbanan hold there is a chashash that you might eat for the chametz. You might eat the chametz on the time of the Issa. So the Mufashim explained that over here we're speaking about the Issa the Rabbanan from Chatzais, or not Issa Rabbanan, but it's not Issa Kares. From Chatzais until Pesach by night, even though chametz is aser, but it's still not Issa Kares. So therefore Rabbanan said that even if people won't usually eat it, but even if they eat it, it's not going to be Issa Kares. I'm saying my Pesach is Issa Kares. So even though since there's a slight chance that people might eat the chametz, Rabbanan said that for sure the only time to check even according to Rabbanan is until Pesach by night. But after Pesach by night, everyone agrees you cannot check for chametz again. Okay, we're going to stop over here, all the way at the bottom of Daf Yud Amud Beis, and we're going to continue tomorrow on Daf Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. Have a good night.
Mendel, I'd like to